Oh my God. Did Victoria Beckham just call Meghan Markle a
And Harry and Meghan's American dream is becoming lonelier, with David and Victoria Beckham the latest A-listers to leave the runaway royals behind.
It seems, even after years apart, Victoria Beckham still doesn't like Meghan Markle, and word on the street is that she is done hiding it. These two former best friends have now become the center of one of the most talked about fallouts in celebrity circles. What started as a tight bond built on trust, shared secrets, and constant collaboration completely unraveled the moment whispers of private leaks and behind-the-scenes betrayals began circulating. The friendship didn't just fade, it fractured in a way that left fans stunned. And now, Victoria's recent statement has insiders scrambling to figure out what really happened. Join me today as we answer some of the questions that have had the internet spiraling. Like, what really happened between Victoria and Meghan? Why does Meghan all of a sudden want to be in Victoria's circle? And why in the world did Victoria Beckham allegedly call Meghan a
That the Sussexes may be frozen out after breaking the Hollywood code. Writing asked why Harry and Meghan were being left off so many guest lists last year, one LA source told The Spectator that it was partly down to their capacity to share.
It's no secret that Meghan Markle has been drifting further and further from the elite social circles she once effortlessly moved through. Ever since stepping away from the royal family, whispers have only grown louder about how many high-profile figures wanted nothing to do with her, invitations dried up, calls stopped coming, and the glamorous world she had once been welcomed into seemed to shut its doors quietly. So when rumors surfaced that Meghan was trying to slip back into a circle she had previously walked away from, nobody was exactly shocked. And that circle is none other than Victoria Beckham's circle, arguably one of the most influential, tightly knit, and guarded social groups in Britain. Now, as I am sure we all know years ago, Victoria and Meghan were pretty tight. However, somewhere along the line, Meghan thought it was best for her to put distance between herself and Victoria now. People close to them claim the communication faded long before the public had any clue a rift even existed, but that was just the beginning of the drama.
Meghan's wedding, Posh arrived in Windsor looking very, very angry. And she was angry because not only had they not been invited to the dinner following the wedding ceremony, but she felt very annoyed that they, the Beckhams, had given Meghan and Harry lots of help before the wedding, and they had not been properly thanked.
Allegedly, insiders say that somewhere during the course of their friendship, things started to get one-sided, and soon, Victoria's calls went unanswered, messages were ignored, and the friendship that once looked so promising simply dissolved in silence. Now, those same sources are saying Meghan wants just one thing, a way back into the good graces of Victoria, one of the most respected power players in the UK. It seems Meghan wants back into a world filled with connections, prestige, and the kind of social capital she no longer has easy access to. Back into the warmth of people she once stepped away from, perhaps believing she wouldn't need them again. But the problem is, Victoria isn't exactly known for turning a blind eye to past tensions.
Sussexes may be frozen out after breaking the Hollywood code. Writing asked why Harry and Meghan were being left off so many guest lists last year, one LA source told The Spectator that it was partly down to their capacity to share.
You have to understand something about Victoria Beckham. She is not the type of woman you hurt, ignore, and then casually approach years later, hoping everything has magically reset. That's not how she operates, and certainly not in the rarefied world she inhabits. So when Meghan Markle tried to quietly slip back into that circle, thinking time had softened the past, Victoria didn't hesitate. She shut the door immediately. And the moment she finally spoke those 7 words on stage, the entire world understood exactly why. It happened at a London gala, the kind of event where the lighting is soft, the champagne is colder than the air outside, and the guest list reads like a who's who of the global elite. Actors, designers, billionaires, old money, new money, every kind of influence imaginable was in that room. Victoria had attended these events countless times before, always a picture of understated elegance, never one to stir drama or fuel headlines. But this night was different. Word on the street is that as she stepped onto the stage, she carried the same quiet poise she's had since her Spice Girls days, the kind of confidence that tells you she doesn't need to prove herself to anyone. She wasn't just presenting an award, she was embodying the reputation she spent decades building, refining, controlling, and respecting. And then, halfway through her speech, the temperature in the room room changed. It's reported that Victoria was overheard saying, "I kept quiet too long. People need to know what she did." Now, she didn't utter Meghan's name, but she didn't have to. The silence that followed was louder than any accusation. Every head in the room snapped up. Whispers stopped mid-sentence. Victoria Beckham, who rarely comments on drama, who almost never addresses betrayal publicly, had just cracked the surface of something bigger, and the internet lost its mind. Within hours, this story had gone viral. You see, Victoria didn't just shut the door on Meghan, she exposed and humiliated her to the very people Meghan wanted to be friends with. You see, there was a time, and it wasn't that long ago, when Victoria Beckham didn't just tolerate Meghan Markle, she embraced her. So for her to basically humiliate Meghan like this, it must have taken a lot, guys. When Meghan first stepped into the royal spotlight, she was hit with a level of media pressure most people could never survive. Headlines attacked her daily, paparazzi hunted her every move, and while the world was fascinated, Victoria understood exactly how painful that spotlight could be. She had lived through decades of it, the tabloid wars of the early 2000s, the obsession with Posh and Becks, and the constant scrutiny over her family, her marriage, her work. If anyone knew what Meghan was up against, it was Victoria. That's why what she did next shocked people who know her well. Victoria reached out to Meghan personally, not through PR handlers, not through palace aides. She picked up her phone and contacted Meghan directly. And she didn't just send a sympathetic message. She shared access to something she rarely offers anyone, her inner network, her private contact list. This was the list reserved for the most powerful people in the UK: elite stylists, discreet crisis management teams, top-tier fashion insiders, people who could shield Meghan from the worst of the media while elevating her public image, and Meghan accepted every bit of it. Soon after, the two were spotted together at Wimbledon, sitting side by side, whispering and laughing like old friends while flashbulbs exploded around them. Meghan wore pieces from Victoria's fashion line, which Victoria personally sent to Kensington Palace. Meghan praised the designs in interviews, and for a brief moment it looked like a real alliance was forming, the Hollywood Duchess teaming up with Britain's reigning fashion queen. But behind the scenes, something darker was beginning to spread. By late 2019, insiders say Meghan's demeanor had changed. She was smiling less, trusting less, isolating more. She reportedly believed someone within her tight inner circle was leaking extremely sensitive information to the press, details only a handful of people knew. The whispers eventually pointed to one name: Victoria Beckham. For many, it was an absurd accusation. Victoria had spent her entire adult life protecting her family's privacy. She was famously guarded, loyal to a fault, and didn't need the press for leaks. She owned her own global brand. But Meghan was convinced, and once Meghan decided someone was disloyal, she didn't confront them. She cut them off. Quietly, cleanly, coldly. No explanations, no conversations, just distance. Invitations stopped arriving, messages weren't returned. The friendly Wimbledon afternoons and whispered secrets turned into complete silence. Victoria, who had opened her world, her network, and her reputation to support Meghan, suddenly found herself shut out with no warning. And by the time Meghan and Harry stepped back from royal duties in early 2020, the friendship wasn't just strained, it was dead. The Beckhams were excluded entirely. Events they once attended together stopped. Connections froze. The warmth was gone, replaced by a silence that felt heavier than any public fallout. For Victoria, it wasn't just a broken friendship. It was a betrayal she never saw coming. After Meghan cut Victoria out of her life, the two women continued forward, each in her own direction, but the cold space between them never thawed. Victoria poured her heart into expanding her fashion empire and deepening her philanthropic work. Meghan migrated to California, stepping into a new world of sunshine, streaming deals, Hollywood circles, and rebranding herself far from royal tradition. The public kept guessing, dissecting every silence, but neither woman ever addressed what had truly happened between them. The truth stayed buried until it didn't. Behind the glamorous image, Victoria Beckham has always been far more than a fashion mogul. Her deepest work has been in children's health and charity, and when she began planning a major children's hospital fundraiser, she approached it with the precision she's known for. She spent months designing concepts, arranging sponsorships, planning decor, paying vendors early, all to elevate a cause she cared about deeply. Meghan Markle had been slated to co-host the event. The partnership would have drawn massive press attention and millions in donations, but then everything took a sharp, unexpected turn. An email, allegedly from one of Meghan's senior aides, was sent to the organizing team. It It requested alternative fashion sponsorship due to concerns about brand alignment and press narratives, a subtle but unmistakable dig at Victoria's brand. And just like that, Victoria's name was quietly removed from the event posters. No explanation, no warning, no phone call. Every trace of her involvement vanished despite her months of contributions. It was a stunning move, and it didn't go unnoticed. The morning after Victoria's now viral 7-word speech, the Beckhams finally made their move, not with accusations, not with interviews, but with one perfectly timed Instagram post. David Beckham shared a simple family photo with a caption that said far more than any interview could. Truth always comes out in the end. He didn't name Meghan. He didn't need to. The message was unmistakable. The comments flooded instantly with support from celebrities, stylists, former colleagues, and insiders who had stayed silent for years. For the first time, it wasn't Victoria standing alone. It was the Beckham family, united, calm, and quietly powerful, sending a clear, unmistakable message. Meanwhile, Meghan remained silent. So did her closest allies, Oprah Winfrey, Serena Williams, and even Prince Harry. Not a single one of them defended her publicly. Harry was photographed at an airport days later, head down, avoiding reporters' questions. His body language sparked more speculation than any statement could have. People began reading his silence as worry rather than confidence. And then the internet caught fire. A 14-second audio clip surfaced, allegedly Meghan's voice saying, "She's lucky I don't say what I know about her." Whether authentic or manipulated, the clip was explosive. Commentators, fans, and critics argued nonstop. What was she implying? Who was she threatening? Why now? Victoria didn't respond to the clip publicly, but a source close to her did. They said she was disappointed but not surprised. A chilling comment that suggested Victoria had always known the extent of what Meghan was capable of. Then the whispers began. Rumors spread that Victoria Beckham was considering something unprecedented. A long-form, sit-down interview with a respected journalist. A candid, in-depth conversation where she would finally break her silence. This is a woman who has spent decades saying nothing, choosing elegance over spectacle, privacy over attention. If she chose to speak, it wouldn't be impulsive or emotional. It would be measured, factual, powerful. Someone close to her summed it up perfectly. People only know half the story. She's ready to tell the rest. And if Victoria Beckham, elegant, silent, strategic Victoria, finally shares her side, it wouldn't just shift the narrative, it would rewrite it entirely. Anyway, what do you think about this drama? Let me know your opinions in the comments. And don't forget to check out our other videos for even more celeb drama. Till next time, bye.